From the Holy Grotto of the Cave, I'm going to speak about Revelation chapter 1. We know that a great persecution broke out during the time of Emperor Domitian, the Emperor of Rome. As a result of that, he arrested many Christians in Asia Minor, and specifically in the area of Ephesus, where they arrested the Christian giant, the Apostle John, or as they call him in this area, John the Theologian. They brought him in a journey about 5 hours in a boat to the island of Patmos. The Apostle John stayed in this island for 18 months as a prisoner, as an exiled person, but also in the midst of persecution, in the midst of prison and suffering, we have received the greatest visions and revelations, what we call it the book of Revelation. And I have the privilege to sit in the same area, in the cave, where the Apostle John stayed in this cave, where he saw these visions and great revelations. It was in this area. And as you can see behind me, some of the important things that he used. For example, one of the deacons, the 7 deacons in the book of Acts by the name Prochorus, came with him. And he dictated the information to this faithful and wonderful deacon. And it is believed that behind me were the place he used to write on the porches. Also, as you can see beneath, it is where the Apostle John reclined his head to sleep. And also in the rock there is a hole where he used to put his hand to recline or to kneel for prayer. Remember, he came here, he was age 95 years old, and he stayed for 18 months, probably around 95, 96 AD, and from here he went to Ephesus, where he died at age 105. It was in this cave he saw great revelations, and when he heard the thunder, now tradition says that there is a crack in the rocks, and the crack, it's in the shape of 3, symbolizes the triune God. And the famous icon in this cave, it is the icon where John is seeing the vision of the exalted Jesus in the midst of the 7 lampstands, 7 angels, and 7 stars in his hand, and also the keys of Hades and death, and also a sharp sword coming out of his mouth. What a glorious revelation. And there is a lot to speak about just in this place. Now the word revelation or apocalypse means to unveil or to uncover or to reveal or to make manifest. Unveiling of the character and program of God that tells us God is watching over his word, over his plan, and he will accomplish his plan. In fact, the book of Revelation is the greatest source of encouragement, hope, and victory for the church or for the believer, and also it is a nightmare for the unbeliever. Also, he received the revelation from the Father. Jesus received it from the Father. The whole thing centered around him, and communicated this vision by an angel to the Apostle John. Now something to notice, in the Old Testament when Daniel received the revelation, God told him to seal the book. But here he's telling John, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book. The time of the apocalypse, it was an intense persecution where many Christians, they were thinking about backsliding, especially during the time of Domitian, because he ordered the worship of himself. He wanted people to call him Lord and God. When Christians refused, as a result of that, they were arrested and put in prison, and some of them, they were killed for their faith. So he's challenging them not to be complacent and to stop compromising with the world. The 3 major movements in this profound unveiling are captured in verse 19 of this chapter. First, things which you have seen. Secondly, the things which are. And thirdly, the things which will take place after this. Now there is a great blessing who read and keep the word. Blessed is the one who read this book. Also we read about the titles of Jesus in his threefold ministry. As a prophet, he is the faithful witness. As a priest, he is the first begotten from the dead. That means he is the highest of those raised. That means a place of honor. And also as a king, because he is prince of the kings of the earth. Now the book of Revelation centers around visions and symbols of the resurrected Christ, who alone has authority to judge the earth, to remake it, and also to rule over it. Indeed, this is a wonderful book to read and to study from the cave of the Apostle John.
The Loveless Church is the subject of our next Let There Be Light, as we travel to ancient Ephesus to study Revelation chapter 2.